really directly responding to the question, are you worried that the protests themselves might spiral in a way that obviously they did last summer?
Well, look, all the government, all the key agencies, the police, they prepare for all situations. So I wouldn't want you to be sort of talking this up or speculating in a way which is unhelpful. Of course, the state prepares for all situations. But I think what we've got to talk about is, why are people unhappy with, say, the asylum system? Are they reasonable? Are they upset for legitimate reasons? Yes, we share those as a government. That is why we are sorting it out, and I understand the frustrations people have, but ultimately you solve those frustrations and solve a problem by fixing and getting a grip of the core issue, which is what we're doing.
Do you think you're doing it fast enough with for example, small boat numbers at a record high for this point in the year?
Yes, I think if you look at any reasonable reading of what has happened since the election, that reduction in asylum hotels from the peak at what it was, if you look at the number of people deported, if you look at the number of asylum claims being processed in a proper way, so we get people who shouldn't be in the UK out of the UK and then integrate people who do have a legitimate need to be in the UK, all of that is there. I wouldn't for a second, though, say there isn't more to do. Everyone in government would accept that, but we are finally getting a grip of this system in a way which, frankly, we didn't have for many years before the election.
Just finally on this, the police have said that they did walk counter-protesters to the protests, and then they did drive some counter-protesters away from the protest because of a potentially violent clash developing. Is the government OK with that level of police involvement?
Look, I've got to say I'm not aware of that, and operational decisions are for the police. I don't think it's helpful to speculate or comment on that as someone who hasn't been part of that decision-making. I think the police in the main do an excellent job in really difficult circumstances when you've got two sides of British public opinion rightfully protesting in a way which is legitimate. I'd leave it to the police to handle that situation.